Hello, my name is Jenna Arnett, and my presentation is on biometrics. Biometrics are biological measurements or physical characteristics that can be used to identify individuals. Biometrics are common in a lot of technological devices that people use every day. However, many people are just not educated on what biometrics are and how they work. Throughout the years, there has been a rising growth of employers implementing the use of biometric technology and straying from traditional forms of security. Biometric technology provides a more advanced level of security and control over the counterparts of a business. American Airlines is one of the companies taking full advantage of the implementation of biometrics. The American Airline Company has created a biometric facial recognition system that aims to simplify a customer's journey throughout the boarding process of a flight. This system takes a one-step facial scan of each customer passing through the boarding gate and matches their identity to the U.S. Customer and Border Protections database, which therefore verifies the customer's identity. Perhaps a customer's photo ID is already on file in the database. The customer's identity can be clarified within seconds. Disney, on the other hand, uses biometric fingerprint scanners to identify all guests that enter the gate. Disney implemented the usage of fingerprint biometrics as a part of their system in 2013. All guests aged 3 and up are required to scan their entry ticket and place their finger on a scanner in which confirms the guest's identification. Since this security measure is still optional, customers have the ability to opt out of this method if they choose to do so. However, the customers that choose to use this security measure are granted more flexible access in and out of the theme parks, as well as saving time when switching between parks. Disney's fingerprint system pairs the customer's unique fingerprint with a number that represents the customer's ticket. The customer's initial fingerprint scan is immediately deleted out of Disney's system as an extra security measure afterwards. The Office of Biometric Identity Management, or OBIM, serves the Department of Homeland Security, or otherwise known as DHS, by providing them with biometric matches. The OBIM also stores, shares, and analyzes biometric data to the DHS and their mission partners. The need for biometrics within the DHS components continues to rise. For example, the Department of State, Justice, and Defense, as well as state, local, and tribal territorial entities, and so forth. Biometrics are a critical part of the national security's priorities. These biometric systems help in controlling counterterrorism and immigration. OBIM focuses on delivering accurate, timely, and high-assurance biometric information to the departments and securities mentioned above. OBIM's goals and priorities are to continue to provide and improve biometric services in order to expand biometric data. The Automated Biometric Identification System, or IDENT, is the central DHS-wide system when it comes to storing and processing biometric identification information for national securities. Several of the national securities that IDENT helps to benefit are departments such as law enforcement, immigration and border management, planning and analysis, as well as many other administrative users. A Privacy Impact Assessment, or PIA, provides transparency to how the systems use personally identifiable information, or PII, which details the system's functions of biometrics. The operations of a biometric system depend heavily on the input devices that are subjected to operational limitations. However, on occasion, these devices may malfunction and fail to capture the input necessary for operation. When systems are not able to capture sufficient input, the systems become less reliable and more vulnerable. There are two types of system failures when it comes to biometric systems: intrinsic failures and failures that result from attacks. Intrinsic failures happen when the biometric sensors malfunction and stop working. They can also result from the failure of the system's ability to extract features, matching, and decision-making modules. Failures that result from attacks are due to loopholes in the biometric system's design. These kinds of attacks are due to insider attacks from unethical system administrators and the availability of computations to the attackers. The history of biometrics and how they came about is an interesting topic to research. Interesting enough, biometrics actually date back to thousands of years ago. The earliest account of biometrics can be dated back to around 500 BC. However, the first documentation of a biometric identification system was in the 1800s in Paris, France, when Alphonse Bertillon created a method of identification to compare the specific body types of criminals. This method of identification was not perfect by any means, but got the ball rolling on the use of unique biological characteristics for identification. Fingerprinting followed behind in the 1880s as a means of identifying criminals and as a form of signature on contracts. Fingerprinting was recognized as a symbolic way to identify a person's identity because no two fingerprints are alike. Edward Henry is denoted for the development of fingerprinting standards, in which this method is called the Henry classification system. Law enforcement quickly strayed from Bertillon's method of identification and adopted Henry's system for identification. Spring forward to the 1900s, and there were many advancements in the biometric system. Biometrics have gone from being a new technology to now an everyday part of life. For example, in 2013, Apple implemented a fingerprint scan which allowed users to unlock their iPhone and have since upgraded their technology to use facial recognition biometrics. The advancements in technology have definitely helped in creating the rising growth of biometric systems. The development of biometrics has advanced so much in such a brief period of time. As the research of biometrics continue, the world will see these systems merge with artificial intelligence. Looking forward, the intention of biometrics is to construct devices and systems that can learn and adapt to the users. With biometrics becoming more common, the future of a rightfully identified society with seamless transactions, interactions, and access control is underway. This slide displays all of the references I used for both pictures and information.